Okay, so welcome to this trigonometry video. For today, or for this video, what we're going to be looking at is, I guess, the setup of the trigonometry problems. Ideally, you would have watched the Math Watch or the other videos that you've seen already. This is more just for a little bit of extra help for those people who are asking for it, about how to apply the formula, kind of what it means, and that sort of thing. So the first thing is trigonometry, like you hopefully would have seen, is when we're dealing with right angled triangles for the moment, and we're trying to find either angles in the triangle or missing sides that we don't know. Now, to use or to find any of those things, we need to use one of these three formulas. Now, it's a bit difficult to go into a lot of detail at the moment with it. When we get back into class, we'll sort of go why those come about and that sort of thing, and what relationship they have, but for the moment we'll just go with those as being the three formulas. Now, you would have seen some triangles that you can use to remember them, remember which formulas you use. I personally like to use SO, CAR, TOA, so sine, opposite hypotenuse, CAR, cos, adjacent hypotenuse, TOA is tan, opposite and adjacent. Now, there's no, I guess the more you use those, the better you are able to remember them. So that's important to do. It's not so much just remembering those formulas, it's using them, and by using them, you'll remember them. Now, when we get to the questions, so all the questions you'll have, a triangle. Now, there's two things that you need to decide on first. One is where the angle in the question is that it's asking you to deal with, and then the next part are the sides that you're going to need to focus on. So as an example, the angle might be down there for this triangle. Now that symbol is theta. It just shows an angle, and it's this in there. And then there will be the other side of the triangle. We know from Pythagoras that the longest side, or the side across from the right angle, is the hypotenuse. Now we need to decide which one is the opposite and which one is the adjacent. Now, this is all depending on where this angle is. Adjacent means next to. Okay. So what is the other side, other than the hypotenuse, that is next to this angle? That's quite clearly, in this case, this side here. Opposite is pretty self-descriptive. If we were to draw a line directly across from it, this side here would be the opposite side. Now, for every question to start with, what I would suggest you do is you label the three sides of the triangle, not just two of them, label all three. Now, the other thing that we need to take into account with this is if we change, we'll draw another triangle, if we change where we're going to put this angle, so the angle that we want to deal with, it's going to change what we label the sides. So this is still going to be the hypotenuse. That's not going to change because that's always going to be the longest side. But the adjacent and the opposite sides are going to change because now this side is adjacent because it's next to that angle. And this side will be the opposite because it is opposite or across from that angle. Okay. So there's sort of the two ways that you can look at those triangles. Now, a lot of people find trigonometry confusing because they're not really sure about what relationship things have, and how to check if your answers are correct to start with. Now, if you can get this part right, then the rest of it is just using the skills that you've already got. So we all know how to substitute information into a formula. We can rearrange formulas. That's the easy part of trigonometry. That sort of comes next. It's the setting up of the question and understanding why we're doing things, which is probably the trickiest part of trigonometry. So if we can get that, then we'll find life much easier for us going forward. Now, when we do this, we need to apply a little bit of logic as to what we're expecting to find when we're working out our answers. Now, we know that these is 90 degrees, and 90 degrees is always going to be the biggest angle in any triangle, because it's 180 degrees in a triangle. If this is 90, then the other 90 will be split between those two other sides. Now, because this is 90 and that's the biggest side, across from that, the hypotenuse is the longest side. We know that, we've established that from other things that we've done. We know the hypotenuse is the longest side. Now, that same kind of thing applies for the other angles and other sides in the triangle. If we look at this one, we can tell that this side is longer than that side there. And we can also see that this angle is smaller than this angle that's going to be on this side there. Now, all of our diagrams might not necessarily be drawn to scale. We might have an angle there of 30 degrees. So I know if this angle is 30 degrees, then this angle has to be 60, okay? So that's going to be the biggest side. Now, if we apply that same sort of thing, if I know that the smaller angle is going to be across from the smaller side, the bigger angle is going to be across from the bigger side. So if you remember that, so if we've got 30 degrees there and I'm trying to find out this, and I know that this here is, say, 10 meters, and I'm trying to find this side, I need to think, well, if that's 10 meters and I've got the smaller angle here, then this has to be smaller than 10 meters. Yeah. So just a little bit of sort of logic that we can start thinking about when we're working out the missing sides or the missing angles, what we should be expecting to see, what we get. Same sort of thing if I'm working out missing sides and I know the hypotenuse here is, say, 12 meters, I use all my formulas and things like that, and I get an answer to be opposite of 14 meters. I go, well, that doesn't make any sense because that's 12 meters, that's the longest side. I can't have 14 meters here if that's going to be the longest side. So that's one of the things we need to sort of look at when we're using trigonometry, is do our answers make sense? Is the smallest side across from the smallest angle? Okay, if this side's 30 degrees and that side's 60 degrees, I would expect this, if this angle's 30 degrees and this angle's 60 degrees, I would expect this side to be longer than that one. So that's just one of the things, and that's sort of, the more you use it and the more you think about those things as you're answering them, not just you plug in the numbers into the formula randomly, the more you think about what it is you're doing each time. Does the answer make sense? And thinking about before you even plug the answers into the calculator or into the formula, what answer am I trying, or do I think I will get? That will help you understand the application of the trigonometry part a bit better. So we'll stop that one there and go on to write down any notes on that you think you need. You might need to come back and use this a bit later, but you can go on to the next video now.